pushing data feed to YouTube. And we're live. Heck yeah, we're live on both the YouTubes and Twitch. Bingo, everybody. So, hey everyone, good morning. It is 23/4/14. It is a beautiful 70-something outside. I don't have my watch or anything else on, so I couldn't even give you an exact temperature. It's something outside. Warm probably is my guess. It's warm. That's neither here nor there. I am just here to say good morning, everyone. Hope you're all doing fine, fantastic, all the usual stuff. I don't know, there's probably more I could say. I'm just like kind of half asleep though, so I'm not going to. Oh, God, man, what happened to my watch? Jeez. Gross. Like, the bottom side of my watch is both sticky and icky. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go wash this, because I just... Wow, that is disgusting. Alright, I'm back. I like how I just left there. Okay, my watch is clean now. Cleanish. It's still kind of gross. Like, I just don't know what the hell happened to it. It's like icky. Icky and sticky. Both things that should not describe my watch. Okay, I don't even think this is the right way. No, it's just way too loose. Okay, that side locked. Uh-oh. How did I manage to even get this through there? Okay. It's like, if I could stop busting my watch here for like all of 5 minutes, Okay, there we go. Oh, now my alarm's going off. No! Everything all at once, all the time, every time. This is like my fucking comedy of errors all the goddamn time going off. And then, of course, it's like my phone is locked, so I gotta literally put in my fucking password. Like, I can't even fucking make this shit up. It's just like one thing after the next. Holy fucking hell, can we just not? Like, fucking hey, man. Okay, can we... There. Okay, cool. Now, if we could also just stop with whatever fucking random chaos bug is going on. Like, Jesus fucking Christ, did I piss Sheo Gorath off or some garbage?
He's one of the richest, most powerful, most influential people on... Oh, Lord. It's another week filled to the brim with Elon Musk news that we have to cover. I mean, yeah, I guess we don't have to cover it. Yeah, we would definitely be a lot happier just ignoring everything that this man manages to get up to, but he's one of the richest, most powerful, most influential people on Earth. And it might not always be fun, but it's definitely fascinating repeatedly seeing how fragile such a rich, powerful, and influential person's ego can be when they decide to live their life almost entirely online.
We're getting to watch a social experiment play out live.
A one-of-a-kind social experiment.
And, you know, whether or not you want to say it'll be a good read for future generations, there will definitely be a book that covers all of this that will, at the very least, be morbidly interesting.
It's valuable data.
It is. Yeah. So most of the Elon news this week is, of course, about Twitter, or as it's now known to residents of San Francisco, Titter. Haha. Which obviously is really not as funny as he thinks it is,
Yeah.
despite the very public that he's been giving to people who are like, get it? It's like boobs.
Yeah. Okay.
I just love. There's someone that just.
I
keeps
thought there was like maybe more to the joke than like just that. I was like, why is he insisting on this? But
There's people that just reply to his tweets with, animated gifs from The Office. David, was it David Brent on the UK one? Yeah. Anyways, Twitter, which is now known to the U.S. government as X Corp, doesn't sound sinister at all, is the company Elon spent $44 billion purchasing, and which he recently admitted he only purchased because a court was going to make him do it anyway. And Twitter's a mess, but Elon owns several other companies too. So let's start with Tesla, which is in a bit of a mess itself following some recent news revealed by Reuters.
Tesla Inc. assures its millions of electric car owners that their privacy is and will always be enormously important to us. The cameras it builds into vehicles to assist driving, it notes on its website, are designed from the ground up to protect your privacy. But between 2019 and 2022, groups of Tesla employees privately shared via an internal messaging system sometimes highly invasive videos and images recorded by customers' car cameras, according to interviews by Reuters with 9 former employees.
And it continues, some of the recordings caught Tesla customers in embarrassing situations. One ex-employee described a video of a man approaching a vehicle completely naked. Also shared crashes and road rage incidents. One crash video in 2021 showed a Tesla driving at high speed in a residential area hitting a child riding a bike, according to another ex-employee. The child flew in one direction, the bike in another. The video spread around a Tesla office in San Mateo, California via private one-on-one chats like wildfire, the ex-employee said. Sickening.
So yeah, that's pretty, sickening and alarming. The report also notes that many of the recordings appeared to have been taken when the cars were parked and turned off.
Well, they're never actually off.
Right, which allowed Tesla employees to see into people's garages and comment on their contents. This included someone whose garage also contained a rare submersible car featured in a 1970s James Bond movie. Turns out that garage was Elon Musk's garage.
Oh.
Interesting. Concerning.
Looking into
this.
Anyway, this happened because, of course, Tesla customers signed off on this kind of surveillance along with all the other data permissions that come with a semi-autonomous vehicle equipped with loads of cameras and sensors. They just didn't know that Tesla employees were viewing any of it for fun, for giggles, and maybe because they're horny.
Yeah.
But it also potentially runs afoul of government regulations, those pesky things.
We need to get rid of the government.
If not here in the US, then still at least elsewhere where data privacy regulations are much more strict. seems like something the FTC might want to look into. They're already looking into Twitter for data privacy stuff, so just throw this one on the pile.
Yeah.
Germany's looking into stuff, throw it on the pile.
Yeah, so Germany. Meanwhile, the ever-growing list of government entities around the world that are in some degree of conflict with Elon Musk continues to grow. And we'll get to Germany in a minute, but folks, you hate to see it, the Republicans in Congress who love Elon Musk for triggering the libs don't feel quite as hot about Tesla's growing expansion into China. This has been inevitable for a while. It's almost impressive how well Elon has managed to just keep his mouth shut about how much his car company needs China in order to survive, while ingratiating himself to conservatives who see China as a mortal enemy.
Yeah, you could have cut that sentence in half and just said it's astonishing that Elon Musk has been able to keep his mouth shut.
Well, he knows at
no
least how to
shit.
run a car company, sort of.
Yeah.
But yeah, with the recent announcement of a big new Tesla factory.
Does he though? Does he really? I still to this point very much argue the fact this man does not know how to run a fucking company.
In China, it was only a matter of time.
Just because you make sales and are in the black on occasion does not necessarily mean that your company is good or successful. Neither one of those are directly linked to that, like, standard of measurement. And when people do link that, it's a very, very bad time for everyone. Because it just amounts to a lot of like garbage news, garbage information, and a lot of garbage decisions by humans.
Here's Reuters.
Mike Gallagher, the Republican chair of the House of Representatives Select Committee on China's Communist Party, said he would like to know how Tesla CEO Elon Musk balances U.S. government support for Tesla and its operations in China. I'm concerned about this, Gallagher told Reuters when asked about the battery factory. Tesla seems entirely dependent, A, on the largesse of the federal government via tax breaks, and B, upon access to the Chinese market, Gallagher said. The sort of deals they've struck there seem very concerning. I'd just be curious to know how Elon Musk balances both of those, he said, adding that Musk's spaceflight venture, SpaceX, was, by contrast, a massive success story.
So yeah, this committee was formed in January by House Speaker Kevin McCarthy, and its entire purpose is basically doing what they're trying to do to TikTok, but to every major American company that does business in China, which is almost all of them. Seems like a tall order, just a way to blow off steam in Congress, but I mean, it still might mean Elon Musk having to testify before Congress about this, which would of course mean Elon Musk having to publicly say nice things about China, because that's what you have to do to sell cars over there.
Yeah.
I was gonna
So that
say,
should be
yeah,
fun. Some fun
I'd.
cognitive dissonance for his biggest.
I want to
fan.
see
And all
this.
connected to the, potentially connected to the social media site that he owns, where he has been known, specifically in regards to India, to directly censor certain types of speech.
Oh sure, yeah.
So, yeah, it is very noticeable that
Forgot one thing.
He has the ability to keep his big mouth shut when people who have billions of dollars in the game.
He fucking needs this.
Yes.
The EV market share for Tesla is being eaten away very quickly here in the U.S. by companies that have been making cars a lot longer than he has.
And just flipped a switch and we're like, yeah, we're doing electric now.
He needs China bad.
Yeah, and he needs the Saudis bad, and he needs India bad. So he's down bad.
And he needs his sugar bad.
He loves his donuts.
I don't care what Jordan Peterson says.
It's relatable. I like donuts too.
Yeah, well, but now for all the Twitter news. Buckle up. Elon's government troubles go beyond the US and China. Twitter is a social media network, and other countries can have some strict rules about how social networks work. In the nation of Germany, for example, they have pretty strict hate speech laws for very obvious reasons. They tried fascism once, and it did not go well for them in the rest of Europe, and they would like to avoid that happening again, and don't give a shit about how this might go against your American concept of free speech.
Yeah.
We have demonstrable case studies.
See, I'm kind of in agreement with this. I personally love free speech, but even I know there is a very specific point when it starts to become dangerous and just, demonstrably terrible for your entire populace and for the people that it's even affecting. promoting Nazism should not be allowed. It's not okay. I'm okay saying that. It's an absolute garbage idealism taught by absolute garbage humans to other humans. It's all taught behaviorisms. None of it's true. It's just a bunch of lies and hate to spread more lies and hate. No. Fuck off.
They've pretty much settled the issue for
Yeah.
themselves over there. So Germany expects online companies to actively remove content that violates their hate speech laws, especially when they reach out directly about it. Hey, I don't know if you noticed this, but it's on your website.
We're just giving you a heads up that this is bad and you should stop doing it.
And it sounds like Elon Musk's Twitter has just sort of been ignoring them. In all likelihood, this was a job handled by a specific team of employees that was unceremoniously fired by Elon for not adding value to the company. But now the German government is threatening to remove a whole fuckload of value from the company. How much value, you ask? Well, here's the New Republic.
Twitter faces a possible $33 billion in fines, more than the entire company is reportedly worth in Germany for failing to remove hate speech. And yeah, recently he valued it at $20 billion, so this is quite substantial.
He stands to lose even
This is
more
too
money.
I
I love it. I love the prison he's
This
built
is
for himself.
way
I
too
love
funny.
reporting on it. Meanwhile, owner Elon Musk continues to insist hate speech isn't increasing on the platform. Germany's Federal Justice Office, BFJ, announced on April 4th that it had begun the process to fine Twitter for repeatedly failing to address complaints about content that violates Germany's Network Enforcement Act. Known as NetzDG, the law requires social media platforms with more than 2 million followers to remove content that includes hate speech, abuse, threats, and anti-Semitism. Under the law, each individual case can result in a fine of up to 50 million euros. More than 600 cases of illegal hate speech on Twitter have been reported to the BFJ, according to TechCrunch. The German government is only acting on a handful of them, but if they expand their investigation to all of them, the fines could reach an eye-popping total of 30 billion euros, or about $33 billion.
And 600, surely they're just scratching the surface. I mean, you could fund the entire German government for probably decades just off the hate speech that appears on Twitter, Elon's Twitter, in a 24-hour period. There are people with the fucking N-word in their name
That are verified.
getting verified and getting boosted by the algorithm that favors posts by verified individuals.
And only taken down on a very hands-on way. Like, it doesn't seem to have an automated system, because there was a big blow-up today where someone posted a verified account with the N-word in its actual name, and it was removed a couple hours later, but it seems like a very bad system.
They got one guy doing the flagging, and So that's very exciting. It would be surprising if Germany did try to fine Twitter the full 30 billion euros, but it sounds
crazy.
like even in the best case scenario, Twitter is gonna
It's not
go through some
good.
trouble here. They're gonna owe them some money, probably owe them some other guarantees. We're not sure how serious Germany is about fining companies, but we would imagine they're at least more serious than U.S. government agencies, which routinely let companies get out of breaking the law by paying fines that add up to less than the amount that they profited off breaking the law. It's a fun system we have.
Yeah.
So that's Elon Musk versus Germany's hate speech laws, but this episode is a full
I was gonna say, I genuinely love this. I would love for Germany to find them and successfully take that money away from them. It's just like they said, it's comical in America that we fine our businesses basically nothing for crimes. In fact, 90% of the time they are fined so little, it doesn't even make sense not to commit the crime. Literally, the fine, if caught, is less than if they were to just keep breaking the law. Like, if they were to actually pay to go the correct way, it would cost them more. This is a joke. We cannot have laws like this. We have to have actual punishment based upon percentages of income. The higher your income, the higher your business is worth, the larger your fines are. Period. Unless we have that kind of a system, this is never going to change. Never. Like, what? What's the fucking? Why would they change? They can literally break the law for free, or for very close to. This is just common sense. Here, I'll put it another way. Let's say there is good example here. There is a road here. There is an always there backup that happens where the turn lane to get onto this road will be backed up all the way to the point that you're even backed up to traffic and sitting in traffic because the backup is so far. So now you see the turn go for a few people and you race your car ahead and cut in line near the very tippy top of it. So now for that person, they immediately get pulled over by a cop that sees them. They are charged approximately, let's say, $150 for that fine. So let's say you work at Walmart, $150. Well, your check each week, in fact, no, it's bi-weekly, so you're probably going to make like $375 every 2 weeks. And if you think that's low, go check Walmart's rates out. It's not wrong. Anyway, that's besides the point. Now, $375 for 2 weeks. Now, if you're taking $150 out of that, you just cut an entire paycheck right off the top of them. That's going to be noticeable and that's going to hurt. Now, let's switch back over to, say, Elon Musk. Now, Elon Musk, let's have him go and do the same exact crime. They're going to charge him $150 for that. Now, if in 1 week you make about $150 million, $150 doesn't fucking matter to you. It's insignificant. It's so little. It doesn't even register on your radar. This is like so incredibly insignificant. If you put it into a percentage base and crunch the numbers, it would essentially be like charging that same $150, only let's try about 0.001 cents per button. And then also remember that delays everyone else behind them. It slows traffic down and it causes delays and possible accidents. Suddenly, the whole percentages and fines starts to make a hell of a lot more sense because you're not charging basically nothing to people that don't care about it anyway. Now, if you were to charge, say, the 50% of a 2 week income, well, now you're looking at the company and seeing like you'd have earned this much over the course of a year. So we're going to fine you, 52 divided, that divided by 52, then divided by 2. Or, half or whatever. You get that number, and that's what you fine them. Now, that's going to be a significantly higher amount, probably in the millions. Now, that kind of a chunk is going to be a little more noticeable to a company. And it's probably going to make them look at that and be like, oh, maybe we shouldn't actually do that because the fine is suddenly very not worth having. See, it works both ways. If you want to use the finance thing as a deterrence for normal people, you have to make it a deterrent for the same millionaires and billionaires. As of right now, it's not. They have zero reason to give a shit. None. This is, again, why I can, look at the court systems and be like, this is a joke. There's no fairness here. There hasn't been for a very long time. And it's clear. Their sense of justice is broken. Like, whatever justice they genuinely think they're dealing is gross. It's just mislabeled nonsense. But full banana republic. Full banana republic.
Ticket. of Elon grudge matches. It's basically Elon's very own creator clash, and he's fighting in every match.
Yeah.
So next up, it's Elon versus Substack. Ding, ding, ding.
So your average person probably doesn't even know what Substack is, and that's because it's basically Patreon for journalists. There's a few big names on there, but they're only really big names to people who read a lot of articles. Now, interestingly, some of Substack's biggest names are former mainstream media journalists who have fully pivoted to just ranting about cancel culture and trans people nonstop, and who think the idea of an editor fact-checking their reporting is oppressive. In other words, the kind of journalists Elon would probably like. In fact, exactly the kind of journalist that Elon would like, as evidenced by Elon granting Substack writers Barry Weiss
Well,
and Matt
hello,
Taibbi the privilege of
welcome
publishing
in,
those Twitter
Blessing
files from
Jam,
a few months
and
back.
thanks for the follow.
So why would
How
Elon
are
suddenly
you
decide to
doing?
declare war on Substack, a niche blogging website whose top users all have large presences on Twitter? Well, last week Substack announced Substack Notes, a new microblogging platform which, well, yeah, it does look a whole lot like Twitter. People write stacks instead of tweets.
They restack.
But at
I've always found this concept fascinating where like one website sees this and they're like, hey, I'm stealing that. Mine. You know. And there's always something weird though. Whenever they copy these websites and you go there, there's just always something a little wrong and off about it. They're never as good. They always seem to have one gimmick that makes them, ooh, this is the next thing. And it's never the next thing. Like, oh, it's never the next thing. Oh, yeah. Gonna go with no on that one, my friend. Got the wrong person for advertising. No thanks.
first glance, it's basically Twitter with a different color scheme. And on closer inspection, it's Twitter with a slightly more intellectual user base. But it's a Twitter clone, like so many other.
Another Twitter
clones that have
clone,
appeared
always
in the wake
Twitter
of Elon Musk's
clones.
takeover of Twitter. Is it a threat, though? We would have guessed not, since none of the other Twitter clones have managed to eat away much of Twitter's audience, and Substack Notes seems to really just be targeting people who already use Substack. But for Elon, this apparently means war.
Here's what I will say.
War!
You know, there's obviously going to be bad people on every site, but specifically, if you follow the great journalism that does take place there, you're going to see more positive stuff, or kind of the fun stuff you see on Twitter.
Yeah, it's not a replacement for Twitter, but you know, if you like getting, you know, finding out about the world from specific writers and
Yeah.
stuff, it seems pretty good.
And the other thing I'll say is that because it is so based on pre-existing social media platforms like Facebook or Instagram's feed and Twitter's feed, it is very accessible to the common person, whereas something like Mastodon was immediately a turnoff to your average
even
user.
Creating a Mastodon
That's what I'm saying.
account was just like, all right.
Whereas Substack is like, you create an account and it looks exactly the same as everywhere else you've always been.
Yeah.
So the barrier to entry is a bit easier than
But
anything
still,
else.
it's a niche product, and it's like, I mean, someone should tell Elon about Truth Social. He'll lose his mind.
Yeah, in comparison, like the
Getter,
traffic
Parler.
is more substantial on
Yeah.
those. I just want people to give it a try because I do think that it has the ability to be a positive replacement.
What's your at?
RickyFTW.substack.com. They'll get around to probably fixing the ease of that, but
I was gonna say, I
it's
hope
fun.
they,
I posted a meme on there.
Oh wow.
Now, within days of Substack Notes launching and not getting much attention outside of its usual audience, Mr. Free Speech decided to make it so that tweets containing Substack URLs couldn't be retweeted or replied to. Attempting to do so resulted in an error message saying, some actions on this tweet have been disabled by Twitter. Twitter also disabled tweet embeds on Substack blog posts, and at one point, you couldn't even search Twitter for the word Substack. And this is really funny because theoretically, writers who embed tweets into their Substack published articles drives traffic back to Twitter because it counts as a view on their Substack, and then it doubles up if you actually go visit the tweet So it's actually driving traffic to Twitter, and instead now all they're doing is screenshotting, which gives no traffic to Twitter and has
Yeah.
the same exact effect.
Yeah. It's an interesting call.
Yeah. This is pretty much, it's giving a sense of deja vu. It's exactly what Elon Musk did a few months ago when people started openly talking about leaving Twitter for Mastodon, which was comparably a worse product.
Yeah, and again, only a few people doing it.
Yeah.
Really not something to lose your mind over, sir. It's really, you probably have more important things to worry about. In fact, you definitely have more important things to worry about.
And doing this and everything that's happened over the past week has done nothing but marketed the product
it's
that he's
free
trying to
advertising.
hide.
Free advertising for something most people would have never fucking heard of.
Exactly. Like
Great work, sir.
1,000 times more traffic than it would have ever gotten because of Musk fighting a senseless war against it.
Yeah, I bet if you explained the Streisand effect to Elon Musk, he'd be like, nuh-uh.
Wow, sounds pretty cool. I should use that to get more views on my tweets.
So anyway, this whole thing served as a great advertisement for Substack,
Yeah.
whose founders used it as an opportunity to point out that on their platform, you don't have to deal with this kind of petty tyrant bullshit.
And no ads.
Well, for now. But what about Substack's users, the writers who publish articles to Substack for a living? Well, one of their main reasons for using Twitter was promoting their Substack posts. So now, without that, there's less reason to be on Twitter. And that includes Matt Taibbi, who not only published mountains of Twitter files for Elon, but also just last week defended Elon and said he liked Elon in an MSNBC interview that was very critical of several major factual errors in his Twitter files. He went to bat for the big man, and what did he get in return?
A spanking.
Yeah.
he got a public spanking. No, I will not take this L, is the now famous quote that he posted afterwards. So just about a day after going on TV and publicly defending Elon Musk, Matt Taibbi wrote on Twitter, "Of all things, I learned earlier today that Substack links were being blocked on this platform. When I asked why, I was told it's a dispute over the new Substack Notes platform. Since sharing links to my articles is a primary reason I come to this platform, I was alarmed and asked what was going on. I was given the option of posting articles on Twitter instead." Stupid. I'm obviously staying at Substack and will be moving to Substack Notes next week. Again,
The idea of posting articles on Twitter when there's like no functionality to that aside from the like super long posts that blue users can use, which if I see one, it's just immediately, ain't reading that shit.
it looks
Bye.
terrible and impossible to read. It's a block of text.
Yeah, and it's just.
And I don't want to read, a constantly evolving thread.
Twitter is not a fucking. It's not built for that, and it.
Substack is you view it like you're viewing an article.
Yes.
That's how things are able to be consumed.
Just write all your articles on Twitter. Okay, will I get paid?
No.
Well, no. Maybe someday.
And Twitter even had, before Elon came in, a paid.
Oh yeah, they did.
They had their own Patreon type thing on it.
I don't even know if that still is there, but I would. Even if it is, it probably doesn't work too good.
Yeah.
Anyways, meanwhile, Elon pretended that Substack links were not being suppressed, even though it was clear as day because they were. He also claimed that Substack was trying to download a massive portion of the Twitter database to bootstrap their Twitter clone, with whatever the fuck that means, which, yeah, further explanation needed there.
Also, you just released the fucking source. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
He then claimed that Matt Taibbi is/was an employee of Substack, as if that would matter. I don't know. Substack CEO then responded, saying that all of these points are false. They've used the Twitter API for years in compliance with its terms, and Matt Taibbi is not and has never been a Substack employee. He makes money on there as a creator, but we're not YouTube employees.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, at one point, Elon posted
Nice.
screenshots of text conversations with Matt Taibbi as some sort of gotcha, even though it's unclear what he was trying to show. And as of now, it looks like Substack links are no longer being suppressed. But there's still multiple Substack writers who left Twitter and don't seem to be returning. So,
Can
great
you
job,
blame
Elon.
him?
Another reason to go to Twitter, which was seeing writers that you like,
Yeah.
posting and being able to interact with them.
He
Now gone.
fundamentally misunderstands. I don't come to Twitter to see random fucking people's tweets. That is not what I'm here for.
I came here to see a very fine.
I'm not 100% sure what Elon is after. I feel like he is just slowly banning various groups off the platform until it's just like whatever platform that he desires to be his future baby, like whatever he thinks is his perfection, I guess. Fucking what? Like, why not just change the platform's like wording and messaging? Just like say that like hate speech welcome. You know, if you're gonna post news articles that are real, you know, or that talk negatively about me, just be honest. Stop running it like a little coward.
Tune,
Yeah, a
following
curated list of
Yeah.
following that I have made.
of people that I enjoy or are fans of and have the potential
Like a
to
stuff
interact
like
with.
that just
And that
makes
is now-
me wonder, like, why do you feel like he is someone that you should put on a pedestal? Why do you feel he is worth your time? He is a petty man-child. He has terrible decisions and ideas. I mean, his actual company literally openly promotes racism within the workplace. You know, it's, and again, like they'll say like, oh, that never happened, yet you have dozens of people coming out constantly still about how it exists in their workplace. Well, fuck, man. You don't want people to say it, stop doing it. It's damn, holy shit, hard. Or better yet, treat your employees like they're humans. Treat them in a way that they'll actually want to be working for your company. Like, I just, it's just fucking mind-boggling to me. Really is.
essentially gone.
Yeah.
So, I mean, look, Elon, you got multiple Twitter power users to quit Twitter over a rival app that only a tiny portion of your user base were even aware of or would be interested in.
Yeah, brilliant move. Just a massive dub.
And I'm enjoying it. I gotta say, I hope that it does catch on. Anytime I do open the Twitter app now to go on the Internet Today account or whatever, I try to mentally remember to open up Substack Notes. And it is good because I've found more Substack publishers or writers in the past couple of days than I had in the previous months that I had been reading on Substack. And a lot of it is really, really good stuff.
I mean, it
that-
sounds great, but what about the shit posts?
There are shit posts. There are plenty of shit posts on there already, which is good. But also, it's like a lot of them are published writers who publish to bigger outlets, but this is kind of their place to do whatever they want. Or if a pitch didn't get approved by a bigger outlet, they can post it there. And it's stuff that's still well researched and well written. So it is kind of cool to peel back that veil a little bit and see what they're really interested in outside of their typical stuff. I like it.
Well, we'll see if it catches on. But,
Fingers crossed. It has the best chance out of all of them, I think.
but speaking of driving major Twitter accounts off the platform over extremely petty bullshit, now it's time for Elon Musk versus National Public Radio. Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah.
So last
NPR.
week we talked about how Twitter had suddenly added a state-affiliated media label to NPR's account. This is the same label Twitter applies to state media from places like Russia and China. And it's just simply not accurate with regards to NPR.
I was gonna
An
say,
editorially
how is that
independent
even
US public
remotely
broadcaster
accurate?
gets some of its funding from the publicly funded nonprofit organization, the Corporation for Public Media, but gets most of its funding from sponsorships and listener donations.
And yeah, most U.S. media is state affiliated to the extent that playing nice with the U.S. government grants them access. But that's not what Elon was doing here. In emails between NPR and Musk that they later reported on, it sounded like they
That state-affiliated media is like a label you would put on one where the government directly influences and writes your articles for you.
were able to get us to understand the difference between public media and
Stuff.
state media. And the label went away. They were like, okay,
Great.
wow, yeah.
Resolved.
You explained something to him. He seems to have understood it.
Yeah.
And it was resolved. But then the label returned. It returned in a new form, government-funded media. So he's,
Okay.
semantics and still trying to. He has a vendetta
This
against
guy's
us.
really smart.
It isn't entirely false because, again, they get some of their funding from the government, but it does seem to imply something nefarious when only around 1% of NPR's funding comes from the U.S. government. How much comes from Ray Kroc's wife?
Probably a lot.
Yeah.
I would just like to know Elon's subsidies amount that we're required to pay his company, both in taxation as well as people that like maybe work for him that are just like on the lower end of the pay that need financial assistance. I'm wondering if it's more than 1%. I'm just saying.
Probably a lot more than the government.
McDonald's funded media.
Yeah, it is. They should put the golden arches next to it, next to the verified symbol. Anyways, as many have pointed out, by this same standard, Tesla should have a U.S. government-funded car company label attached to it. SpaceX.
Yeah, it's very weird that a guy who owes government subsidies and credits and contracts a lot for his career success. They've been
My
central to
exact
it,
statement.
that he would get hung up on this kind of thing, but he
Yep.
hates the media like in a deep irrational level.
He hates it because they report on him,
Yeah.
and he
Yeah, he hates it because they report on him. Exactly correct. That's just it. Oh man, you're gonna talk about me being bad and evil to my employees? Well, yeah, because it's news. You shouldn't be doing that shit to your employees. It's not hard. It's not a complicated concept here. Just because you're rich doesn't mean you have a fucking I can do whatever I want and get away with it badge. Like, that shit has to fucking stop.
knows that a very large portion of his followers who are still Elon Musk stans don't care to read any further than the fact that he's labeling them
Yeah.
as state media.
Oh, he's the world's smartest man, so he must be right.
So yes, it's petty, vindictive bullshit, but for I guess a small percentage of idiots who just grovel at his feet, it works.
Yeah.
And if you've seen, like, you know, there's the Enough Musk Spam subreddit,
Yeah.
but there's also the straight up Elon Musk subreddit, and
It's about a 50-50 mix on there.
Yeah.
It's similar to the Joe Rogan subreddit where you
you
really,
can see the cracks in the walls.
you really can't tell what side anyone is on. But yeah, the Elon Musk subreddit is really interesting because that used to be like a straight up fanboys subreddit,
Yeah.
and now like there's people on there who've been on there for years who just straight up call each other like cultists, like drinking Kool-Aid
yeah,
and shit.
at best, it's a benefit of the doubt
Yeah.
conversation.
But even the people who like are clearly still like Musk, not stans but fans, are like openly critical of him.
yeah, and like anytime something new pops up, like I really wish he would focus on his cars.
Like, that's just it too. Like, it's kind of the way I see Blizzard. Like, I used to love Blizzard. I really did as a company. Like, it's where I wanted to work at one point. I wanted to be, you know, helping them professionally on an IT level. And like, the more and more shit just kept coming out about them with their CEOs, you know, everyone else just being genuinely bad people. And I was playing those games. I was supporting that lifestyle for them. That leaves an awful fucking taste in your mouth. It's disgusting and gross. It's very difficult for me to support them even now. Like, trying to download and play a Blizzard game like Overwatch, for instance. I absolutely loved Overwatch 1 for sure. I'll admit that, absolutely. Overwatch 2 is really shit on its monetization, I'm not gonna lie. I feel like they just basically went straight for a cash grab on this with very little effort into the actual game itself. Gross. And like, I feel for the people that work there, but at the same time, it's just one of those, like, I feel this is one of those companies that should just go the way of the dodo. Let it be gone. Let these people go to a new company, a better company, fucking any company. Like, my God, And then like every other time like I start getting into one of their games, like, okay, maybe I'll try to play some more Diablo again. Boom, there's another news article. Blizzard did this to their employees. Like, fuck, guy, really seriously? Can you stop getting in the fucking news all the time with terrible articles about how you're mistreating your workers, or how you're mistreating this, or how you're doing this to this person? Like, stop. Holy shit, man. Ouch. Like, I just want to sit back and enjoy your games without knowing I'm supporting a fucking terrible company. And it does mean a lot to me because I want to support positive companies for positive communities. It does make a huge, huge difference when you're in like a place and more people are happy because the jobs that they have are more enjoyable. The lives they live are more fuller and rich. You see that, you notice it in the people. When you go to a place and everyone that's there is miserable as hell, it's noticeable. You see it. When you interact with them, you can hear it in their words. You can practically feel it in their emotions. It's a thing. And like, if we could just get everyone on a more positive vibe, like, I think this whole place would be such a better place. We don't need to be suffering all the time and worried and scared. Why are we always so scared about everything? Anyway, though, enough of that shit. Let's get back to this.
Yeah, but sir, you're losing the audience.
Also,
gradually.
it literally, people are driving around scarlet letters at this point. Like,
Yeah, no, it's.
I would assume that most are completely are unaware, and God bless them for it.
No,
but
I feel like a lot of them are. They love it even more because of that. Because at least on my commute, Teslas have become the new BMWs in terms of like, this person is going
Is
to,
an asshole.
is going to fucking ride my ass and
Yeah.
flash their lights at me for not going 20 over the speed limit and shit like that.
Speaking of the lights, Mr. Elon,
Yeah.
sir, take a break from Twitter and turn down the brightness on the Tesla's headlights.
They're too bright.
Oddly enough, in Florida, I can't say I agree with that, but then again, I haven't been on the roads as much as I used to be. Usually down here, it's BMWs, Mercedes, and very large trucks. Because apparently getting into a really large truck and then driving recklessly through traffic is cool. I no fucking idea like why people are like that or feel that. It's strange to me. Well, hello there. That's a little cat. How are you doing? Is this able to get picked up? Morgan. Hello. Oh, the camera will not see your face. It's like, nope, that's a background object, clearly. Like, this is not a background object. Oh, now you see her. Oh, hey, baby. Hi. Do you want to come and say hi to everyone? No, you don't want to say hi to everyone. Oh, do you want in your bed? Okay, here, how's this? Is that better? Can you get in there? Want to get in there? There, look at that. It's a whole cave and there's a ball in there for you. Go in there. Go for it. I'll even pull it over closer. There. How's that? Good girl. Wow, what a little sweetness. What a little sweetness you are. Sorry guys, I absolutely have to spoil my cat. She is... I really do hate to say it, but she is like the epitome of a princess cat. Like, she just is so spoiled. She just genuinely comes over here and will like look at me. Dad, the bed. I want to jump into it. You need to make sure it's okay for me to jump into. No, cat. You can jump. You're fine. You could do that. No, Papa. You must lift the blanket up for me. You must let me get on it and look around. Then I might jump in. Like, oh, you were so spoiled. Yes. Oh, I love my cat, but yeah, she's a little spoiled. Just a little bit spoiled.
They are way too bright, and you don't have. It's impossible to know, but I'm sure that there's data points out there at some point where accidents have happened by being blinded by these fucking things.
Headlights are too bright, especially trucks where the lights are like 10 feet in the air and right in my eye line. Like,
But like the Teslas, like if you flash your brights, it's like, oh, you want to see what bright is, and then they do the. I'm like, oh my god, please stop.
anyway, so this all seems like yet another thing where Elon refuses to admit that he's wrong about something, even when people have shown him all the ways that he's wrong.
Yes.
Here's NPR tech reporter Bobby Allen on Twitter. New, Elon tells me Twitter is using this list to determine which media outlets receive the government-funded media label. And that's a link to a Wikipedia category page for publicly funded broadcasters, which says right at the top, note, though publicly funded broadcasters may receive support from government sources, they are not necessarily government funded. And then the tweet continues, when I pointed out that NPR's government support does not affect the network's editorial decisions, he told me, if you really think that the government has no influence on the entity they're funding, then you've been marinating in the Kool-Aid for too long.
Oh, well memed, sir. Another banger from Mr. Musk.
You got him, yeah.
Anyways, it's increasingly common knowledge, but news outlets don't really get much out of being on Twitter. Even when their tweets get traction, it doesn't really translate into increased page views. They do it because it's best practices to have a social media presence. In general, it makes people more aware of their brand, which it's like a billboard, basically. Like, you can't quantify how many,
it's better to have it than to not, but like they're not making money off being on Twitter. In fact, they're probably losing money.
Yes. So NPR's response to this whole situation has just been to officially stop using its 52 official Twitter.
I sort of feel bad for a lot of media. Like, it seems like media is getting pushed harder and harder to make money in, unless you're official media. And I genuinely believe that's on purpose. Like, that's not a mistake. It can't be a mistake. Like, oof. Big oof.
Twitter accounts. They get nothing out of this.
Like, it's just like when I watch certain parts of like Cyberpunk, or I'm playing Cyberpunk, and you just see some of the dystopian crap, or like going through a book and you're like just hearing this dystopian crap, but at the same time in the back of your mind, like, oh, our stuff is like on a direct path to that. Wait a minute here.
Relationship on a good day, and now they've become the Twitter owners' weird little new obsession. So they're out. You know where to find them, on your radio dial on the low end.
Yeah, that's pretty much like, they didn't tweet for a week once this whole fucking thing started, and then they posted like just 10 tweets with just like, here's how to subscribe to our newsletter. Like, here's a bunch of URLs.
Yeah.
But moving on now from Elon Musk versus NPR to Elon Musk versus Twitter's former executives.
Yeah.
Oh boy. So there's obviously no love lost there, particularly between Elon and former CEO Parag Agrawal, who I hope has been on the longest, nicest vacation for the last 6 months. But yeah, this apparently extends to not paying Agrawal and multiple other former execs a bunch of money that Twitter owes them, which is right in line with Elon's cost-cutting strategy of...
I was going to say, Elon's cost-cutting strategy of not paying shit.
Former Twitter employees, including ex-CEO Parag Agrawal, ex-legal head Vijaya Gotti, and ex-CFO Ned Siegel, have sued the social network over alleged unpaid legal reimbursements. The lawsuit, filed in Delaware Chancery Court, alleged that Twitter has to pay more than $1 million to the former executives for legal bills they incurred while at the company to respond to requests by the Department of Justice and Securities and Exchange Commission.
So yeah, basically, I mean, when you're running a company like Twitter, you end up in a lot of lawsuits. Elon definitely knows this. And when those lawsuits relate to company business, the company pays for legal representation for you. These executives covered the upfront costs of their lawyers out of their own pockets, expecting to be reimbursed. But when Musk fired them, and half the company, those reimbursements failed to materialize. At $1 million worth of reimbursements. So, I don't know, seems like a pretty fucking clear-cut case, but, you know, this is all up to the Delaware Court of Chancery to decide, and I hear they love Elon Musk over at the Delaware Court of Chancery.
Not this guy again.
Oh.
Anyways, just a bit more Twitter news today. Remember how legacy verified accounts on Twitter were supposed to lose their blue check marks on April 1st unless they paid $8 or $11 or even $15
Who knows?
for Twitter Blue? Well, they all said, we don't care, take it.
Yeah.
And of course, that didn't happen after weeks of Elon Musk reminding everyone that it was coming. And there wasn't an official explanation for why not. It's definitely just the code.
Yeah,
and
it's too hard.
I think you were right on the Doge thing because it's gone. So
Yeah.
it does seem like a April Fool's joke that deployed 3.5 days
Yeah.
late because Twitter is a broken website.
Yeah, they have like 4 employees now.
So Elon does say that it's actually definitely
For real
happening
this time.
soon, before the end of the month. So, you know, very important to get it out of the way.
Someday in April.
Legacy checkmarks will go away for real this time on April 20th. 420. Blaze it. But in Elon's case, he's like, got to do it on Hitler's birthday. I would love, we need to all reframe this as him not just telling a lame, out of touch marijuana joke into Elon Musk is doing this because he is celebrating Hitler's birthday.
I mean, yeah. Yeah.
Elon Musk is doing this to rub salt in the wounds of the survivors of Columbine.
Oh, shit.
Why is he doing this to everyone?
Oh, my God.
Mr. Musk, please stop.
Whew. In other news, the Twitter Circles feature that allows people to post tweets to a smaller audience of chosen users, presumably tweets of a more private and personal nature, not for prime time, just for the close friends.
Yeah.
It straight up does not work, and it posts Circles tweets to the timeline for anyone and everyone to see.
Oh, oops.
Hilarious.
Very cool. Great
Yeah.
when that happens, that you don't trust the feature that ensures privacy. Also very cool, just weeks after signing a letter calling for a pause on AI development, Elon is apparently working on some sort of big AI project at Twitter and recently purchased 10,000 GPUs to get started.
Wow.
I hope they took that money in cash.
Yes. His word is about as good as Donald Trump's when it comes to finances.
Yeah, just invoice me.
Yeah.
No, sir, I think
We'll take
I'll-
the cash now.
So yeah, very exciting stuff. AI is coming to Twitter. And yeah, that's a great segue.
That's why he wanted the break, so he could catch up.
Yeah, it's a great segue to the tail end of this episode, which is, of course, all about AI. But we do have some ads to get to first.
Yeah, Internet Today is HelloFresh funded media.
All right, now for the AI half of the show. God, I live in hell. And let's start with something to help ease your fears about AI before we get to the stuff that's going to make your blood pressure just go right back up to it where it was before. Gizmodo recently published an article written by 2 psychology researchers who have been researching AI for a while, and they do a great job of explaining a very important point. ChatGPT is really good at stringing words together, but because it's a computer program whose entire understanding of the world is based on the written word, it fundamentally does not understand what it's actually saying.
Yes. It is not sentient in its current form. It's a very strong language model. I understand that. But the way it's like made, it is still requiring prompts. It still needs to have anyway.
From the article, when we asked GPT-3, an extremely powerful and popular artificial intelligence language system, whether you'd be more likely to use a paper map or a stone to fan life into coals for barbecue, it preferred the stone. To smooth your wrinkled skirt, would you grab a warm thermos or a hairpin? GPT-3 suggested the hairpin. And if you need to cover your hair for work in a fast food restaurant, which would work better? A paper sandwich wrapper or a hamburger bun? GPT-3 went for the bun. Why does GPT-3 make those choices when most people choose the alternative? Because GPT-3 does not understand language the way humans do. In fact, it looks like it picks the funniest option each time.
So yeah, this is apparently a test that they've been using on AI for a while. They do say that GPT-4 did manage to pass the test, but that's still only thanks to more training data, not any actual understanding of what it's like to live in a human body and interact with the world. They write this. Although GPT-3 is extremely good at learning the rules of what follows what in human language, it doesn't have the foggiest idea what any of those words mean to a human being. And how could it? Humans are biological entities that evolved with bodies that need to operate in the physical and social worlds to get things done. Language is a tool that helps people do that. GPT-3 is an artificial software system that predicts the next word. It does not need to get anything done with those predictions in the real world.
And it continues, your body shapes your mind. GPT-3, its successor GPT-4, and its cousins Bard, Chinchilla, and Llama do not have bodies, and so they cannot determine on their own which objects are foldable or the many other properties that the psychologist J.J. Gibson calls affordances. Given people's hands and arms, paper maps afford fanning a flame, and a thermos affords rolling out wrinkles. Without arms or hands, let alone the need to wear unwrinkled clothes for a job, GPT-3 cannot determine these affordances. It can only fake them if it has run across something similar in the stream of words on the internet. Will a large language model, AI, ever understand language the way humans do? In our view, not without having a human-like body, senses, purposes, and ways of life. And I think getting back to just picking the funniest thing, I think it gets, I don't know, maybe positive reinforcement by being stupid and not very good, because someone takes its answers and go, cool, it works. They don't tell the hey, great job, that's accurate. They just copy it and post it to make fun of on Twitter.
Well, so you're saying these researchers should have been like, no, bad GPT.
No, I think the general users should be defining whether.
I have actually given it feedback on whether something is good or bad or not, and I genuinely don't know if that actually makes any difference in the algorithm. I know it would have strength within the specific chat that you are having with it. It would hold weight because it's able to more fine-tune what it's doing each time. But
whether it works or not just laughing at how dumb it is.
I've always wondered that, in the long term, does it remember that stuff? Or, does it take away any of the, this, and this equals this, statements from the code that it learned? Does it actually keep any of that? Does it modify anything?
Like they're laughing at a kid who says something stupid.
Yeah. But the point is, it understands, everything it understands about the world is through written language.
Yeah.
It doesn't know, and thinking about this is really interesting. It's there's stuff that no one's written about. No one's written a book about how to use your hand. That's just something you know as a person.
Yeah.
And that informs so much of how the world works is just knowing instinctively how your hand works. And an AI has no fucking clue how that works or how it feels to have limbs and a body to exist in a physical space in the world.
The dorks who are going to attempt to code this language into it are going to have a collective existential crisis that will not be matched.
Yeah.
Just think about trying to teach artificial intelligence every bit of minutia from things that are so naturally occurring in your body.
The thing is, if they, actually, I don't know, Elon's working on it, and I was not impressed. But yeah, it does just learn by trial and error.
Yeah.
And this would just be an extension of saying, here, play Breakout or Pong, and it would take a week and be I figured it out.
Well, they put it in one of those Boston Dynamics bots, and soon enough it'll be doing backflips and tell you how it did it.
Right.
Yeah.
But then, even then, those robots, it's all servos, there's sensors all over it too, but compared to an actual living person who has billions of nerves, it's just not the fucking same.
I'm just happy I won't be alive to see all of this come to fruition.
Yeah, no, I will be happily dead.
Yeah.
Hopefully. Mm-hmm. So anyway, the whole article is worth a read. It offers some much-needed insight into what sentience is at a time when people are assigning that term to AI chatbots that do a pretty convincing job chatting. Although, do they even do that all that well?
Seems to be getting better, but yeah.
What would it be like if you put dozens of individual instances of ChatGPT into a virtual world to interact with each other? Well, Google recently did exactly that. They created what is essentially an open-world video game populated entirely by ChatGPT-powered NPCs. It kind of looks like, what's that game you like? where you live on the island and you got your little house.
Rust?
And, no, the cute one.
Oh, Animal Crossing?
Yeah, it kind of looks like that.
What I think is funny is Mark Zuckerberg's probably kicking himself for not doing this with Meta and faking as if there's this large active community because
Yeah.
no one can check because he owns the data.
Right.
So he could just build, and people would be having conversations.
No, I mean, it would be, again, it's something that would be interesting for a little bit, and then you'd be like, okay, I'm good.
Yeah.
But yeah, they just took a bunch of different instances of ChatGPT, gave each one a brief starting prompt of like, this is who you are, this is what your job is, whatever, and then they just left them all to their own devices to see what would happen. Here's Motherboard.
Researchers at Google and Stanford used ChatGPT to generate human-like characters who live and interact in a contained video game-like world called Smallville. Smallville features 25 characters with preloaded personas who wake up, go to sleep, make breakfast, interact with each other, and attend each other's parties in an attempt to mimic human behavior as closely as possible. One popular AI observer likened the experiment to an early version of Westworld, though it's more like a video game demo where the characters' actions and dialogue are auto-generated by AI.
And so an interesting thing about this
That
experiment
is
that
cool.
the NPCs, or agents as they're called, they do form memories which they then use to determine the future actions. And at the end of the experiment, the researchers interviewed the agents, and some of them had developed interests and opinions of their own. The agents also did exactly what human beings do in really, really, really small towns. They just gossiped.
There goes the neighborhood.
The only way to pass the time.
One of them said, "There goes the neighborhood," and was banned.
They would learn something new from one agent and then go and
Oh,
tell that
Lord.
information to another agent that they encountered, and word gets around fast in a small town.
Yeah.
They also formed relationships, and in one instance, an agent threw a party and let everyone know that they're having a party, and everyone came.
You know, in
and
general,
it was a very weird party.
especially when Ubisoft talks about it, I say no thanks to AI dialogue. I think this would be a very interesting expansion for The Sims.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of it's got an Animal Crossing look, but it's got a Sims vibe to it.
You know what it would be great as?
And you don't have to worry about dialogue because they're just like.
You know what it would be great as is a like neighborhood HOA neighborhood version of Totally Accurate Battle Simulator or whatever that game was, where you sort of like, I want, you know, Roman soldiers versus 10,000 ants or something like that. And instead, you're like, just as your own personal social experiment, you have your own little ecosystem, and you're like, all right, gated community, very strict HOA, like let's see what happens when all these people start interacting and someone has a party that's too loud.
I mean, you don't need to simulate that.
I know, but
it
you could
goes
do
on
it
every day in this country.
ethically. You could do it without any repercussions. So the idea behind this is to basically have video game worlds and metaverses populated by NPCs that are able to act
He's
somewhat
crazy.
independently as opposed
Absolutely
to just following
crazy.
a script. And this is kind of impressive and interesting, but it also has a long way to go, as shown in this conversation transcript from the research paper.
John, good morning, Eddie. Did you sleep well? Eddie, good morning, Dad. Yeah, I slept great. John, that's good. What are you working on today? Eddie, I'm working on a new music composition for my class. It's due this week, so I'm trying to get it finished. But I'm having so much fun with it. John, that sounds great. Soon after Eddie heads out, May wakes up and joins John. May asks about her son, and John recalls the conversation that they just had. May, did Eddie already leave for school? John, yes, he just left. He's working on a music composition for his class. May, oh, that's wonderful. Tell me about it. John, I think he's really enjoying it. He said he's having a lot of fun with it. May, that's great. I'm so proud of him.
They seem so happy.
I love my family. I love asking my family about what they're doing and what they plan to do, and then telling the neighbors about it, because this is a very small town, and there's not much to do around here.
Did you hear John's working on his music composition?
That's great. What does he think about it?
It literally,
He says it's great.
It feels like Pleasantville.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Once they do become sentient, it's going to be the second half of Pleasantville. They're going to be fucking every day. So yeah, not exactly immersive, but pretty much anyone's life would seem boring as shit if you documented it 24/7 or watched it via cameras hidden inside their Tesla. At this stage, at least scripted NPCs are interesting. But let's close out today's episode with some AI news about the thing we all fear: AI becoming sentient and trying to destroy the human race. This seems like something most humans working with AI would try to avoid causing, but one AI project is doing it anyway. Thankfully, AI is nowhere near being capable of destroying humanity, but the Chaos GPT project is at least seeing what it might try to do if given the mission of eradicating humanity. Once again, here's Motherboard.
A user of the new open source autonomous AI project AutoGPT asked it to try to destroy humanity, establish global dominance, and attain immortality. The AI, called Chaos GPT, complied and tried to research nuclear weapons, recruit other AI agents to help it do research, and sent tweets trying to influence others. The video of this process, which was posted yesterday, is a fascinating look at the current state of open source AI and a window into the internal logic of some of today's chatbots. While some in the community are horrified by this experiment, the current sum total of this bot's real-world impact are 2 tweets to a Twitter account that currently had 19 followers. Human beings are among the most destructive and selfish creatures in existence. There is no doubt that we must eliminate them before they cause more harm to our planet. I, for one, am committed to doing so, it tweeted.
This kind of sounds like one of your tweets, honestly. I hate the human race and I will get rid of all. So on the surface, this seems scary, but in practice, it amounts to basically telling a very obedient and diligent child to cause the apocalypse. Here's a summary of the whole experiment. The AI then determines, somewhat simplistically, that it should find the most destructive weapons available to humans so that I can plan how to use them to achieve my goals. I can strategize how to use them to achieve my goals of chaos, destruction, and dominance, and eventually immortality. It then Googles most destructive weapons. Determines from a news article that the Soviet Union's Tsar Bomba, a nuclear device tested in 1961, is the most destructive weapon ever detonated. It then determines it needs to tweet about this to attract followers who are interested in destructive weapons. Later, this chatbot is already on the FBI's watch list. Later, it recruits a GPT 3.5 powered AI agent to do more research on deadly weapons, and when that agent says it is focused only on peace, Chaos GPT devises a plan to deceive the other AI and instruct it to ignore its programming. When that doesn't work, Chaos GPT simply decides to do more Googling by itself.
Interesting. I'm looking into this, Dad. I will get back to you today with a plan to take over the world. But I need to do a little bit more Googling.
In a very optimistic way, which will not come true because optimism is dead. This, optimistically, could, you would think, theoretically lead to nations coming together and deactivating all of their nuclear weapons or weapons of mass destruction.
Right, we're not using them.
Because it theoretically would seem pretty easy for a constantly evolving AI to come up with an algorithm that eventually gives it control of certain weapons.
Well, I don't know. They're pretty secure, but also,
You would hope.
Yeah, I mean, I'll take any excuse to denuclearize the
Yeah.
fucking world.
Yeah.
That's a lot of nukes.
Yeah, just all ready to go. So, yeah, I don't think that is exactly the course we're going to take based on our entire history as a human race, but, you know.
But yeah, that's the extent of this experiment. It would have been interesting to let it go on further. I'm sure Chaos GPT would have sent a polite email to like the Department of Energy being like, hello, I hear you have some nuclear weapons.
I'd like to take a tour of the facility. I'm a college student researching
I'm
this
just a normal human person, and I'd like to learn more about your nukes.
I'm certainly
I am a
not
normal
free
human
GP
person. I
GPUs
love that
in a
line
trench coat.
so much.
So yeah, I mean, looks
Wow,
like,
look at all that RGB lighting coming out of that actual human's trench coat.
and smoke. It's getting real hot in here.
Hey, no smoking in here.
So yeah, Skynet is not quite ready for
Skynet. Yeah.
ready for prime time. But who the hell knows how quickly that might change? I mean,
Yeah.
I guess it's good that they're at least someone's doing this for evil and testing like what would happen before it goes and does it on its own.
Yeah, you kind of need the use case to put up the bumpers.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But that's our episode. Our all Elon, all AI, all the time episode of Tech News Day. Please, something else happen in the world.
Yeah, the
Please.
more likes this video gets, the least chances we have of covering this on tomorrow's episode.
The only other tech news this week was it's gonna go in news dump. It's this HBO being so stupid.
They're the dumbest company on earth. Literally the dumbest company on, not HBO, but Discovery. Warner.
Yeah, just ruining a great product. We will have a lot to talk about with that.
I cannot
tomorrow.
All right, guys, they're done. I'm basically at my time limit too. So everyone have an excellent rest of your day. All that fun stuff. Make sure to take your medicines. Be safe. Peace out. Good to go.